Today we join the rest of the world in observation of World Habitat Day, being held under the theme Housing Policies, Affordable Homes. Here in Jamaica, the Andrew Holness administration is committed to increasing citizens' access to affordable housing through the policies of the National Housing Trust NHT. In addition to constructing over 5,000 housing starts this year, the NHT is on track to provide over 8,000 mortgages to contributors. To find out how you can acquire the keys to your own home, visit nht.gov.jm. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson, your host for the next 30 minutes. Our show opens with a word of advice, followed by the news.
Did you know that in a recent survey done by the OCA in schools across Jamaica, 43% of the students received inappropriate messages from strangers? The OCA wants you to be smart online. Never speak to persons you don't know. Parents, encourage your children to be social but be smart.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Children's Advocate with support from UNICEF.
Good day, I'm Carrie-Ann Smith and this is your JIS News for Monday, October 2. The Senate has passed two critical bills paving the way for the reform of pension arrangements for employees in the public sector. They are the Pensions Public Service Act of 2017, which had 62 amendments, and the Constitution Amendment Establishment Fund Payment of Pensions Act of 2017. Leader of Government Business, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, who piloted the bills, said the matter of public sector pension reform was way overdue.
The affordability of public sector pensions is a matter of grave concern, and with it, not only the well-being of our economy, but clearly the well-being of our workers.
The Pensions Public Service Act 2017 will establish a defined benefit contributory scheme, which will require workers to contribute 5% of salary towards a pension. It also provides for the establishment of a segregated fund for contributions and gradual increase in the retirement age to 65. The Constitution Amendment Established Fund Payment of Pensions Act 2017 seeks to amend the Constitution to provide for the payment of pensions, gratuities, and allowances out of the pension fund. The bills were passed in the House of Representatives earlier this year. The National Security Council has reviewed the social intervention framework for community development initiatives in the Mount Salem Zone of Special Operations. The framework and initial plan of the Social Intervention Committee was presented to and accepted by the Security Council during a meeting on Thursday. During that meeting, the Council was also advised that there had been no reports of abuses by the Joint Force or by citizens who are said to be largely supportive of the intervention. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who chairs the National Security Council, lauded the level of professionalism which had been displayed by the Joint Force. In response to concerns raised in the media by the Independent Commission Indicom, Mr. Holness instructed the Commissioner of Police to disaggregate the data on police shootings and provide a report detailing whether these incidents occurred in the course of legitimate police action. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his administration is moving apace with the development of a gated communities legislation to preserve property values across the island. The legislation will be similar to the Strata Corporation Act, which gives strata corporations the authority to enforce the payment of maintenance fees and address disputes within communal living spaces. According to the Prime Minister, too many communities are allowed to depreciate due to residents not abiding by their purchase agreements.
You have to organize yourselves into a community association, and this government is going to give such associations the legitimate authority to act.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking on Friday as he handed over keys to the residents of the Berkshire Court housing scheme on the Brunswick in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. The $906 million NHD investment consists of 44 two-bedroom townhouses which have room for expansion. Mr. Holness used the handing over ceremony to commit his administration to addressing the sewerage problem affecting Spanish Town and its environs.
We are going to turn our attention and resources to having the problem addressed. As more housing developments are done, the government has to keep a pace with the infrastructure.
In the meantime, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is committed to the continued build-out of infrastructure that will position Jamaica as a premier logistics hub. Mr. Holness says maritime trade is important to the country's growth and development, as 93% of foreign trade is being done via shipping.
The development of Jamaica as a logistics hub presents, therefore, a variety of opportunities ranging from the location of distribution centers, assembly and light manufacturing facilities for transformational companies, the establishment of centers of excellence in logistics expertise, and in other areas.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the Caribbean Maritime University's inaugural Charter Day ceremony last Thursday. He asserted that government would ensure that further development took place without sacrificing the environment. Government will begin the process of buying new state-of-the-art scanning equipment for all the nation's ports within the next few weeks. In making the announcement, Finance Minister Audley Shaw says more modern technology is required to replace what is now in operation, which have become obsolete. He says the new machines are being brought on board not only for revenue purposes, but also to reduce cases of corruption and to enhance national security.
This is what we're looking for M16s and handguns coming in illegally into the country. And we intend to bring on board the latest technology in scanning that can identify everything.
The Finance Minister was speaking at the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce's 16th Annual Customs Seminar recently. He's encouraging interested companies to get involved in the procurement process for new scanners under a pay-as-you-go system, where money for the use of the equipment will be recovered over time.
Those who want to provide their equipment, and out of the incremental payment for each examination, you get your money. You can come and participate in the procurement. And over time, you collect back your money from the system. That's how it has to work.
Minister Shaw says government is expected to pay for the system within about 3 years using this arrangement. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced that parliamentary by-elections for 3 constituencies will be held on Monday, October 30. Nomination day is 1 week from now on Monday, October 9. The public will vote to elect new members of parliament for the St. Andrews South-Western and St. Andrews Southern constituencies, left vacant when former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and Dr. Omar Davies retired from representational politics in June. The third by-election is in the St. Mary's South-Eastern constituency, which was represented by People's National Party MP Dr. Winston Green until his sudden death on August 14 this year. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica has previously indicated that it is prepared for the by-elections. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Carrie-Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica comes alive for Jamaica 55. The Jamaica Information Service is inviting primary, secondary, and tertiary students to catch the vibes and join in the celebration by participating in this year's staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Primary and prep school children, ages 9 to 12, enter the essay competition and tell us how you would want to see Jamaica in 55 years. High schoolers enter the poster competition. Show us your artistic interpretations of Jamaica throughout her 55 years in a poster titled Jamaica 55. Posters may be designed digitally or illustrated. Zoom, click, snap. Yes, tertiary students, the photo competition is back. Capture an image that best represents Jamaica 55. For more information on the competition rules and how to submit entries, visit the JIS website at www.jis.gov.jm. You may also send an email to heritageessay@jis.gov.jm, heritageposter@jis.gov.jm, or heritagephoto@jis.gov.jm, or call us at 926-3590-4. The deadline for all entries is October 31, 2017. So ready, set, go for prizes galore. JIS Heritage Competition 2017, celebrating Jamaica 55.
The latest news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister are next.
Jamaica pledges $100,000 each to Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda, welcomes $30 million technology park, and gives more Jamaicans the key to their own homes. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Lorraine Mendez. 120 members of the Jamaica Defense Force's Disaster Assistance Response Team, DART, are now in Dominica, assisting with the country's recovery from Hurricane Maria. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says DART was deployed on Tuesday and Wednesday.
This team will be assisting Dominica with security and distribution of relief supplies, the provision of limited medical care, basic engineering work with light tools and equipment, inclusive of debris removal and construction of improvised shelter, logistics management, conducting damage assessment, and recovery planning.
Mr. Holness says a four-man technical and advisory team led by Colonel Jamie Ogilvie has also been deployed to the Caribbean island. The team will help with restoring the integrity of Dominica's national security system, as well as developing a recovery and rebuilding plan. And Prime Minister Holness made an additional pledge.
The government has also committed to making cash contribution to the Jamaican equivalent of $100,000 each to the redevelopment funds for Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica.
While in Parliament Tuesday, the Prime Minister revealed that the second batch of 250 Jamaica National Service Corps recruits would begin training in November. The first batch received 13 weeks of training and graduated on September 23. The training represents the first of a five-phase one-year program and is the new main intake mechanism for the Jamaica Defense Force. The Jamaica National Service Corps is also a key component of the Housing, Opportunity, Productivity and Employment HOPE program.
We must recognize the linkages that have to be put in place for safety and security, nation building and development. The Jamaica National Service Corps is one such manifestation of the overall strategy of securing Jamaica. This project symbolizes the confidence you have in Jamaica's productivity and capacity.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness welcoming a $30 million investment in the business process outsourcing sector called 58HWT. Once completed in June 2018, the 236,000 square feet facility on Halfway Tree Road in St. Andrew will be the largest technology park in the English-speaking Caribbean. At Thursday's groundbreaking, Mr. Holness thanked developer Stanley Motor for its show of confidence in Jamaica and pledged to support the investment.
We stand in support of a partnership. If the private sector grows, we can do more for the public sector. And when the public sector is more efficient, it does more for the private sector. And then we create a virtuous cycle of partnership.
Last week also saw Prime Minister Holness welcoming the newest institution of higher learning, the Caribbean Maritime University, formerly CMI. The school received its charter on Thursday, and the Prime Minister said his administration would be using the university to make Jamaica the premier logistics hub in the region.
I am confident that the CMU will continue not only to be Jamaica's and the Caribbean leading source of talent and ideas in the areas of logistics and maritime technology, but will also be seen as one of the world's best institutions for maritime training.
Pointing out that 93% of foreign trade was done by sea, Mr. Holness said shipping and logistics was vital to the country's growth and development.
The development of Jamaica as a logistics hub presents, therefore, a variety of opportunities ranging from the location of distribution centers, assembly and light manufacturing facilities for transformational companies, the establishment of centers of excellence in logistics expertise, and in other areas.
Ahead of Thursday's ceremony, Prime Minister Holness met with the CMU's first Chancellor, His Royal Majesty King Droller Bosso Adamte I, king of one of the largest tribes in Ghana. Mr. Holness also met with outgoing Cuban Ambassador Bernardo Guancho Hernandez. The two spoke of strengthening the country's long-standing cooperation in the areas of health and education. And on Thursday, the National Security Council, chaired by the Prime Minister, reviewed the social intervention framework for community development initiatives in the Mount Salem Zone of Special Operations. The framework and initial plan of the Social Intervention Committee was presented to and accepted by the Security Council. During that meeting, the Council was also advised that there had been no reports of abuses by the joint forces of citizens, who are said to be largely supportive of the intervention.
I want to take the opportunity to encourage the homeowners here today to do everything in your power as owners to preserve the value of this property in which you have invested.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is charged to the new residents of the Berkshire Court housing scheme on the Brunswick in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. The $906 million NHT development has 44 two-bedroom townhouses with room for expansion. At Friday's handing over ceremony, Prime Minister Holness again affirmed that government would be implementing a gated communities legislation to maintain standards and property value. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Do join us again next week for more of the news coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Protect Jamaica, plant your grass. Help us become more resilient to climate change impacts. Protect Jamaica, plant a tree. It improves the island's national biodiversity. Trees may be fruit, ornamental, or timber, but must be native or suitable to the area's natural landscape. Join the Jamaica Million Tree Campaign and help to plant 1 million trees by June 30, 2019. This is a call to action by the National Environment and Planning Agency.
As we celebrate World Habitat Day, we take a look at the role played by a critical agency in the housing sector.
The National Land Agency, NLA, established as an executive agency in 2001, is the modern national land management entity geared towards supporting sustainable development. The NLA is a merger of the land titles, surveys and mapping, land valuation, and estate management functions. Now divisions, these four represent the core products and services offered by the agency. With the use of technology, the NLA has been able to link related functions across divisions. This was done using a software known as Momentum Registry Solutions, ARS. Prior to ARS, this had to be done manually. The software was provided by multinational mass media and information firm Thomson Reuters.
Some of the gaps that the agency identified and which the Momentum Land Registry System assisted with is moving from a manual system where everything was paper-based to this electronic system. Hence the whole benefits of working quicker, working smarter, working more effectively, and therefore ultimately, reducing your turnaround times to your customers.
Like everything else, always the personnel was very, very willing and able and helpful. But the personnel was only able to work in accordance with the system. So what now can be done in 2 days or 3 days or 24 hours used to take 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 4 weeks. The system works, and a lot of money has been spent, a lot of training and a lot of effort, and the benefits are self-apparent.
As an information technology company, we have effectively a global platform, and it's a global technology platform that can be deployed around the world. But what's critical is that it's localized. And so we partner with our customers like Jamaica to really understand the local capabilities and the local workflows and the local rule of law to ensure that the technology is configured and deployed to be effective in the local operating environment.
Through this collaboration, the NLA was able to improve the level of service to the public through computerization and online access and the creation of a one-stop shopping outlet. With the integration of Geographic Information System (GIS) capabilities, the system has also facilitated the implementation of an online portal which hosts two key services: iMap Jamaica, through which persons can view land parcel information, and eLand Jamaica, which allows persons to access copies of various land-related documents globally at their convenience. The main service areas that have now been enhanced through the Momentum Registry Solutions Land Registration System are the Land Registration System, the Document Scanning System, and the Estate Management System.
The Momentum Registry Solution, formerly called the Land Registration System, is the foundation of what we do here. Since its implementation in 2003, is a platform on which we process all transactions that come into this office. When you think of the ARS, the best analogy is that of an assembly line. It goes through various stages from the inception when the customer submits it here to completion when we return either a rejection notice or the title is properly endorsed with the transaction and returned to the customer. There are 5 main stages. The first is the assessment stage, which all transactions go through. Our officers will select the transaction type. The system generates a transaction number that is unique to that transaction. The secondary stage is the data entry stage. Now, at this stage in the process, it splits into one of 3 main sections of the land titles division. Now, once the transactions are split into one of these 3 sections and they are properly data entered on the system, it then moves on to the third stage, which is the signing stage. Here, the attorneys will ensure that each document or transaction meet the legal and procedural requirements of the Registration of Titles Act, and they will then sign the endorsement.
After the signing is done, it's on to printing, and then the land titles are dispatched.
There have been some innovations introduced, in particular an expeditious transfer system. So essentially any transaction for payments of a modest fee, you can have a turnaround within 24 hours. With respect to subdivision applications, for a relatively modest fee, you can have titles in 20 days and sometimes a lot shorter than that. And that's down from about 3 months, which it took before.
The ARS has significantly improved the operational efficiencies and the customer service needs offered by the NLA. And the agency now stands as a pioneering entity operating as a one-stop shop for land services in Jamaica. This objective is fast becoming a reality due to the technological improvements of the services offered by the NLA through the implementation of the Momentum Registry Solutions Land Registration System.
The island will host the first Geographic Information Systems User Conference from October 10 to 11 at the Jamaica Pegasus in Kingston. Learn more about GIS and the conference next.
Imagine a Jamaica where its people are empowered to achieve their fullest potential. A Jamaican society that is secure, cohesive, and just, with a prosperous economy and a healthy natural environment. With the integration of geographic information systems, Jamaica can realize those goals. GIS technology is one of the tools the island is using as it positions itself for first world status in the digital age. Geographic information systems are used in various sectors, from water, land, transport, health, education, agriculture, insurance, as well as environment and disaster management.
The Road Safety Unit is unique in that we use JIS technology to ascertain trend, spatial characteristics and distribution of accidents as well as fatalities, because when we put out a report, we try to give factual, and JIS help us in a way that we can show a graphical representation of what is the actual trend.
We use the platform to provide solutions to our client, whether they're from the government or private sector. We provide solutions to make their organization more productive, more efficient, and also to help them to create an environment for sharing and collaboration throughout the organization.
GIS facilitates us being able to map, the location of features. So it is place-based, it's location-based, and anything that we think about with regards to society is located somewhere in the island, whether it's human-related or physical, and this can be mapped, it can be monitored, it can be managed effectively with a view to ensuring that we're able to facilitate development.
And now GIS technology is also being used to address national security and public safety challenges.
What will bring success is an increase in public trust, a partnership with our communities, respect for people's rights, less corruption, stemming the flow of our youth into gangs, the use of technology, a calm and informed citizenry, and strong leadership.
By incorporating traditional law enforcement data with information such as demographics, infrastructure, and offender tracking, Jamaica can use GIS to transform information into actionable intelligence. Geospatial tools offer the capability of monitoring, predicting, and countering threats while helping to strategize and support field operations. The use of advanced spatial analytical tools and advanced imaging technologies enable the continuous flow of data between intelligence, law enforcement agencies, and security companies in pre, real-time, and post-operations. Through its secretariat, the National Spatial Data Management Division, the LICJ spearheads Jamaica's implementation of a GIS network across the island. And every year in November, the LICJ promotes the technology through GIS Day and Geography Awareness Week. This year's focus will showcase GIS technology as a crime-fighting tool under the theme Geospatial Technologies, Mapping Our Way to Secure Communities. The 25th anniversary of the LICJ will also be celebrated in November. As part of those celebrations, the Council will host the inaugural GIS User Conference on October 10 and 11, 2017 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston.
It will be a platform to facilitate networking among policymakers, leaders, and other members of society to ensure that best practices can be discussed and employed to ensure that our varied strategic objectives and mandates are met.
It is very useful, so we're hoping that the user conference helps to promote and push GIS in this country.
We want to bring GIS to the fore for not just our GIS community, but for persons outside of that community to be aware of this platform and its capabilities.
We welcome everyone, students, persons from government, private sector, the public at large, to come out to the various events that we have in store for you.
Learn more about the GIS User Conference by visiting gisuserconferenceja.com.
And that's how we close out today's offering. Be sure to join us again tomorrow around about the same time on this station. We would like to hear from you. Send emails to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You may also join us on social media. We have active accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And what's more, we have a mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.